Do you ever feel like you're drifting through life, wanting to improve but never quite making real progress? It happens every new year. You envision breaking free from bad habits and adopting better ones. This time will be different, you tell yourself. This time I will follow through. But before long, you find yourself right back where you started, frustrated and unchanged. So, how do you actually become the person you aspire to be? How do you break bad habits and make good ones effortless? Atomic Habits by James Clear holds the answers. In this video, we will take a deep dive into atomic habits with a detailed and visually engaging summary. We will explore key concepts such as habit loops and how behaviors are formed and reinforced, dopamine spikes and the role of rewards in shaping habits, and priming your environment to set yourself up for success. Along with these insights, we will cover much more to help you understand the power of small, consistent changes. Stay until the end, where I will break down how I have personally applied these principles to my own habits and how you can do the same. Let's begin with a story. In the mid-2000s, Great Britain's professional cycling team, Team Sky, was struggling. Their performance was unremarkable, with just one Olympic gold medal from 1908 to 2008, and no Tour de France victories. That all changed when Dave Brailsford introduced the concept of the aggregation of marginal gains, making small, 1% improvements in every aspect of performance. Instead of just focusing on big changes, Team Sky optimized even the smallest details. They upgraded their bike tires, customized pillows for better sleep, and even brought them to hotels during competitions. These tiny adjustments compounded over time, leading to dramatic results. Brailsford predicted they could win the Tour de France in 5 years, but they won in just 3. They followed up with more victories and dominated the 2012 London Olympics, winning 70% of the available gold medals. The lesson here? Small, consistent improvements create extraordinary results, and that's exactly what we'll be exploring today. Let's take a closer look at the math behind small improvements. If you get just 1% better every day for a year, the results compound to make you nearly 38 times better than when you started. On the other hand, getting 1% worse each day will bring you dangerously close to zero. Your habits, whether good or bad, compound over time. Negative ones, like stress or self-doubt, work against you, while positive ones, like knowledge, productivity, and strong relationships, propel you forward. As James Clear states, success is the product of daily habits, not once-in-a-lifetime transformations. When we start working toward a goal, we often expect progress to be linear, but in reality, growth follows a different trajectory. In the early stages, small improvements seem almost invisible, a phase James Clear calls the Valley of Disappointment. This is where many people give up, assuming their efforts aren't making a difference. However, the most significant rewards of habit formation and compounding come later, making patience one of the most critical factors for long-term success. Forget about goals, focus on systems instead. Goals define what you want, but systems determine how you get there. Many people think that setting clear goals is the secret to success in fitness, business, or relationships. However, James Clear argues that real, lasting success comes from focusing on systems instead. Why? Because goals don't differentiate winners from losers. Everyone has similar goals. They also create an all-or-nothing mindset where success is temporary and motivation fades once the goal is achieved. Goals set the direction, but systems drive progress. The real key to lasting change isn't willpower, it's building better systems. Habits are the small routines that over time create massive transformation. While big breakthroughs capture attention, real progress happens through consistent daily actions. Just as atoms are the building blocks of molecules, atomic habits are the building blocks of remarkable results. True transformation happens when you shift your focus from achieving something to becoming someone. Don't just run a marathon, become a runner. When a habit aligns with your identity, change happens naturally. If you see yourself as a runner, you'll want to act like one. Every workout affirms you're an athlete. Every line of code reinforces that you're a coder. Every time you lead, you strengthen your identity as a leader. Habits form through a feedback loop. Cue, craving. Response, reward. For example, your phone buzzes. Cue, you crave to know who messaged. Craving, you check your phone. Response, your curiosity is satisfied. Reward. Over time, this cycle becomes automatic. Identifying the cues that trigger your habits is the key to breaking bad habits and reinforcing good ones. The secret? Shift your identity, build the right systems, and let small daily habits create big results. The first law, making the habit loop work for you. To harness the habit loop, James Clear introduces 4 guiding laws. The first law, make it obvious. Most habits run on autopilot, so the first step to change is awareness. One way to achieve this is with a habit scorecard, listing all your daily behaviors and categorizing them as positive plus, negative minus, or neutral equals. The goal isn't to change anything yet, just to observe. As Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Vagueness often leads to failure. Saying, "I will get in shape," lacks clarity, making it hard to follow through. Instead, use an implementation formula. I will behavior at time in location. For example, rather than saying, "I will read more," specify, "I will read for 15 minutes at 6 a.m. in the spare bedroom." Another powerful tool is habit stacking, linking a new habit to an existing one. Use the formula, after current habit, I will new habit. For example, after brushing my teeth, I will stretch for 5 minutes. This method builds a chain of habits, increasing the likelihood of consistency. The key to sustaining a habit stack is selecting the right trigger cue, something automatic in your routine, like waking up, turning off an alarm, or brushing your teeth. By making your habits obvious and tied to reliable cues, you create a strong foundation for lasting change. Shaping your environment for better habits. James Clear argues that motivation is overrated. Our environment has a far greater influence on our behavior than willpower alone. Environment is the invisible hand that shapes human behavior. To build better habits, redesign your surroundings to make good habits easier and bad habits harder. Want to drink more water? Keep bottles visible in key areas. Want to read more? Place your book where you'll see it. If you want to improve at guitar, keep it out of the closet and within reach. Context is the cue. Objects don't dictate our behavior, but our relationship with them does. One person's couch is a reading spot, while for another, it's a place to binge-watch Netflix. To improve productivity, create distinct zones for different activities using the mantra, one space, one use. Eliminating bad habits is easier than resisting them. Make them invisible. Struggling to focus? Put your phone in another room. Trying to eat healthier? Remove junk food from sight, or better yet, from your home entirely. Rather than relying on self-control, shape your environment to set yourself up for success. The second law, make it attractive. We take action when we expect to be rewarded. The more rewarding an action feels, the more likely we are to repeat it until it becomes a habit. To build good habits, make them more attractive by understanding the role of dopamine in motivation. Dopamine and feedback loops. Dopamine, a key neurotransmitter, plays a crucial role in motivation, learning, and habit formation. Studies show that dopamine spikes not when we receive a reward, but when we anticipate it. For example, Gambling addicts experience a surge of dopamine before placing a bet, not after winning. The same applies to social media, junk food, or drug use. Dopamine rises when we see the cue, not after indulging in the habit. This means cravings drive action, not the reward itself. The excitement before a vacation often feels better than the vacation itself. Understanding this can help us design habits that feel rewarding before we even start them, increasing the likelihood of sticking to them. One way to make a habit more appealing is through temptation bundling, pairing something you need to do with something you want to do. For example, watching Netflix while working out makes exercise more enjoyable. This technique is based on Premack's principle, which states that a preferred activity can reinforce a less desirable one. Over time, your brain associates the less enjoyable habit with a reward, making it easier to stick to. We naturally adapt our behavior based on the expectations of those around us, so immersing yourself in a culture where a desired habit is the norm, such as joining a book club to read more or surrounding yourself with fit people to exercise regularly, can help reinforce good habits. Cravings aren't random, they stem from deep-seated human motives like conserving energy, seeking social approval, or reducing uncertainty. Modern habits like checking social media, smoking, or online shopping are just new versions of ancient desires, and recognizing these underlying motives helps us understand why certain habits are so compelling. Hard habits become easier when you associate them with positive experiences. Instead of viewing exercise as exhausting, frame it as improving health and well-being. Cleaning the house becomes creating a peaceful environment rather than a chore. Likewise, to break a bad habit, highlight the benefits of not doing it, making it as unattractive as possible. The third law: make it easy. Forming a new habit is not about how long it takes, but how many times it is repeated. Each repetition strengthens the neural circuits responsible for the habit, making it more automatic over time. To make habits stick, it's crucial to reduce friction. The more effort required, the less likely it is to happen. If going to the gym requires a 20-minute detour, you're less likely to go. If it's on your way home, the habit becomes easier. Setting up your environment for success further reduces friction, such as laying out workout clothes the night before or prepping ingredients for a healthy breakfast in advance. The 2-minute rule is another powerful strategy. Start with a habit that takes only 2 minutes, like putting on running shoes instead of committing to a full workout, or reading 1 page instead of an entire chapter. Once the habit is established, it naturally expands. Conversely, increasing friction makes bad habits harder to sustain. Unplugging the TV and hiding the remote can reduce screen time, while leaving credit cards in the car can curb impulsive spending. The key to successful habit formation lies in making good habits effortless and bad habits inconvenient. The fourth law: the key to lasting behavior change is making habits satisfying. When we experience pleasure from an action, our brain recognizes it as something worth repeating. Immediate rewards reinforce behaviors, while immediate punishments deter them. Bad habits often provide instant gratification, but negative long-term consequences, whereas good habits are initially difficult, but ultimately rewarding. To stick with good habits, it's crucial to create small, immediate rewards. Visual progress tracking using habit trackers, paper clips, marbles, or logs can provide a sense of accomplishment and motivation. When habits inevitably break down due to life's challenges, the most important thing is to quickly recover. A single missed habit is not a problem, but missing twice can start a negative pattern. On difficult days, doing even a small version of your habit is better than skipping it entirely. To break bad habits, making them unsatisfying can be highly effective. Accountability partners add immediate consequences, such as a monetary penalty or social pressure, making failure less appealing. Formalizing this system through a habit contract can further enforce consistency, ensuring long-term success by linking habits to real-world rewards and punishments. Applying the lessons from this book is where real transformation happens. It's one thing to read about habit formation, but another to systematically build habits into daily life. Over the past few months, I've structured my approach using the book's principles to develop good habits and eliminate bad ones. My focus was on creating a consistent workout and reading routine while cutting down on social media distractions. I started by completing the habit scorecard, which helped me identify existing daily habits that I could stack new habits onto. For my workout habit, I made the cue obvious using an implementation strategy. I will work out at 6 a.m. in the living room. To reinforce this, I placed my dumbbells in the living room, set up motivational images, and used temptation bundling by pairing workouts with my favorite podcasts. Reframing my mindset also played a big role. I stopped thinking, I have to work out, and started saying, I get to build strength and a healthier body. To make the habit easy, I followed the 2-minute rule by committing only to putting on my workout clothes and stretching. Once I was in position, the motivation to continue naturally followed. Reducing friction was crucial, so I made it a rule not to check my phone until after my workout. Priming my environment by setting out my workout gear the night before ensured I had no excuses in the morning. To maintain the habit, I tracked my progress with a habit tracker and sent proof of my workouts to my accountability partner, which made the process more satisfying. I focused on identity-based habits, reminding myself that I am someone who values fitness and consistency rather than obsessing over specific weight goals. I followed a similar process for my reading habit, using habit stacking. After making a coffee, I will read for 15 minutes. My coffee ritual became the trigger for reading, leveraging dopamine anticipation. To start small, I followed the 2-minute rule by reading just 1 page of the Daily Stoic. Gradually, I built up to a longer reading session. For eliminating my social media habit, I made the behavior invisible by deleting distracting apps and keeping my phone out of sight while working. I also reframed the habit to make it unattractive by reminding myself that mindless scrolling is passive consumption, while creating is challenging but rewarding. Increasing friction by keeping my phone in another room made it less tempting, and I added an accountability system where I owed my partner $10 if caught using social media during work hours. This system has given me great results so far, and I hope this breakdown helps you apply these strategies in your own life. If you haven't read Atomic Habits, I highly recommend picking up a copy to dive even deeper into James Clear's insights. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.